Once you get to know seaweed, you know that it's really fascinating how many products you can extract from it.
I grew up hearing bad things about seaweed and contaminating the environment or washing ashore, and I never saw seaweed as a potential solution for current world demands, current world problems.
We can use them as food, we can use them as materials for making plastics, we can create sources for energy.
It captures CO2 from the environment, and actually most oxygen that we breathe is produced by these marine trees, these ocean rainforests.
It is available, it is sustainable, it is environmentally friendly, so why don't we develop it further? I'm Antoinette Kasbar. I'm assistant professor at the Bioprocess Engineering Group at Wageningen University. 2 years ago, we got a call from a company that is interested to change her process regarding the seaweed. And we were, okay, let's write a proposal to solve this problem. An NVO proposal was granted from the Dutch Research Council with the aim to explore green solvent for a multi-product biorefinery from seaweed. And from that time, 2 years ago, we became seaweed obsessed. The problem with seaweed is seasonability. So you cannot find green seaweed or brown seaweed every time in the same summer or winter. At the same time, you cannot process it the same way. Research is key. As a team, we can make a difference. With 4 PhD students, we are tackling some of the processing problems, but we still need more connections with the market side and the farmer's side.
If you come to the ocean, maybe you only see some of seaweed. We cannot really rely on the wild harvest actually, because we need to talk about sustainability. Also, the quality of the wild harvest is not like fully the standard what a biorefinery needs. So if we want something for the industry, we need to make sure that we produce the high quality biomass for biorefinery. So, and another thing is that maybe across Europe, some of countries maybe have some limit in the coastal area. To bring in the land also a good option actually, like to produce seaweed for our industry.
The process of extracting is not really straightforward. It depends on many factors. You have the seaweed from summer and the seaweed from winter. So the seasonability of the seaweed will impact a lot the process that you are developing. But also, red seaweed is not the same as brown seaweed.
So my PhD topic is about this red seaweed called Palmaria. And this seaweed has a lot of proteins, and sometimes it's very hard to get it out. So I'm using enzymes, which are like Pac-Mans, to go and eat the seaweed and get these proteins out. And the goal of having these proteins out is to contribute to the current demand for novel proteins and sustainable techniques of obtaining these proteins.
Seaweed is a tough biomass. It's not easy to extract components from inside. You need a lot of harsh chemicals to be able to dissolve this leathery cell wall. But harsh chemicals is not sustainable.
The way seaweed is currently processed is not that sustainable. It's mostly focused on the extraction of one single compound, and on top of that, the solvents that are used now are quite harsh and they are not reused and recycled. So within my project, we would like to establish a multi-product biorefinery by extracting various compounds from the seaweeds. And at the same time, we are working on developing novel green extraction solvents that can also be recycled. So with this, we are generating less waste and making full potential of the biomass.
My work aims to understand the interaction between this green solvents technology and the seaweed compounds. The functionality of the compounds is determined and heavily influenced by the extraction methods. So when we look into alternative for extraction, we don't have to only look into the yields or the sustainability of the process, but also in how this process affects the final product, the viscosity capacity, the antioxidant capacity, and we can offer the product into the market or maybe create or develop new products that we can use for expanding the market.
Since I'm from research university, you may think, oh, okay, they are working in the lab. But that's not the case. So AlgaePARC is a pre-pilot scale for seaweed biorefinery and processing. Already the unit operations are defined. So you will see from the start till the end how we can process the seaweed. We are really going in accelerating the seaweed processing and going to the scale up.
This is my experiment setup for cultivation experiments. I try to manipulate seaweed by different level of nutrient and also harvesting time. Hopefully that we can get a biomass with a high quality. It's not only contain high protein but also extractable by biorefinery process. So in the end, our product will be competitive in the market.
This is the cutting mill. We use this machine to cut the seaweed into small pieces. So we put the seaweed here, and then these sharp blades turn the seaweed into very fine powder. So this is our stir tank reactor, and here our seaweed will come in contact with the enzymes that, as I explained before, are these Pac-Mans that will release the protein from the seaweed.
This is the homogenizer, and we use this machine to break down the algal cells. And with this, the intracellular components are released.
After the extraction process, we want to recover the target compound. And we use here a membrane system. We have a set of membranes here. We have a microfiltration and a purification membrane. And finally, we had the purified product here.
So I think it is a growing industry that we need to put a little bit more effort in it. And in the coming 5 years, if we continue in the same effort, we will be able to create such a new opportunity in the seaweed field.
Here in the North Sea, we have a lot of seaweed growing, and there's a lot of focus on the cultivation, improving this part. However, we still need to further focus on the processing of the seaweed. We need to develop sustainable multi-product biorefineries where we can take out several different products from the seaweeds, thereby improving the overall sustainability of the whole process.
The seaweed biorefineries are possible. Enzymes or other green extraction techniques or solvents can be used in an industrial scale, and it can be feasible.
We are facing huge problems in this world. We need to find alternatives to the current situation. Like we can see seaweed in food products, in materials like plastics, in fabrics. The possibilities are big, and I hope we are working to achieve that.
We need to find the market for it. And for this, we need help. There is a lot of questions to be answered. And what I would like to emphasize is that we really need resources, funding to have more people working on the topic, because I believe that seaweed will make the difference.